Good afternoon, South Africa, and welcome to Kyalami, the Grand Prix of Entertainment. It's Superstars weekend at Kyalami, and it's part of the West Bank Super Series. We've got the Italian superstars coming to join us here, as they did last year in December, and looking forward to a fantastic day's racing. And the weather at this stage, there you can see in the background, Steve, just how difficult things are going to be. Do you go out on slicks? Do you go out on wet tires? Are you going to have to come in? It's really going to be a tough decision. But with the wet race being declared, these guys are going to pray that hopefully this first race will get them through without any worries about the rain coming down.
Certainly the drivers are going to be concentrating and hoping that the weather does stay away. Well, we have seen in the past couple of days how they have to really fight and muscle these cars around this track. It's a lot of the technical people have turned around and said, well, you know what, it's a very demanding racetrack, and we know that because we commentate here on a regular basis. So we've seen it, and we've seen a few internationals here, but it's the second time round for these superstars to be in South Africa. But of course, once again, this is South Africa, this is Kyalami, and weather will always play a role. Yeah,
predictability of the weather, unfortunately, is not going to come down to the weatherman, because these thunderstorms are only supposed to arrive this afternoon for race 2, but they're already here, and there could be a possibility of a bit of a wet race. It has been declared a wet race, so as they get going now, let's see whether or not we're going to have the rain play a factor into race 1. I don't think so. The way the wind's blowing right now out of our commentary booth, I'm not quite sure if we're going to get the rain just coming here as our supercar safety car heads around. And the safety car lights will be on. Certainly is an amazing racetrack as they come up now, formed up. The lights are out on the safety car, which means he'll be peeling off into pit lane and remove himself from there. That means Ferrara takes up the opportunity to lead this race and lead for the next 25 minutes. Remember, it's 25 minutes and 1 lap. That's how long this race is going to be. So here we go. Herbert takes up his position alongside him. We're on board with Herbert through the final corner. This is how close things are going to get as they come out of here. Then alongside him is going to be Ferrara. He is our pole man. Pigoli is alongside Brandon Orby for the second row. Tom Biaggi is in 6th place. Lots of work for him to do. Waiting for the lights to go out, and we will be racing for race 1 of Superstars here at Kyalami. Cars spreading out and trying to get through as early as possible. They go down to turn 1. It looks like Herbert's got the whole shot, and Brandon Orby goes through to 3rd place, just behind Ferrara. Pigoli comes alongside him, gives him a little tap. Oh, getting it completely sideways there. Well held Brandon Orby as he comes out of turn 2 up towards turn 3.
Fantastic start from Brendan Orby in the mix already at its early days, and a nice onboard shot. You can just see how this is all starting to bunch up at the moment, and we're not even in a third of the way around this racetrack under the Goodyear Bridge, and it's still Ferrara. Johnny Herbert is just leading them out at the moment. He really got a great start, and of course he's going to want to keep that pressure moving along. Look at that, fantastic Johnny Herbert. Ferrara's all over him. Brendan Orby, Pigoli. This is fantastic stuff and a great break for Johnny Herbert.
Yeah, good start there from Johnny Herbert. The Chevrolet Lumina has got to the front and looks as if it's going to be the man to beat today. Ferrara's got to beat him. He's got to get the fastest lap. He's got to win both races. That's how hard it is for Ferrara today. He's got the most difficult job in the world to do, but he can do it. He showed pace yesterday in free practices. He showed pace in the qualifying. Now let's see whether or not he can find a way past the 0-5 car there of Johnny Herbert. Ferrara goes on the inside, getting a slightly different line. Check out Brandon Orby using the conventional line, and one that we're all accustomed to here at West Bank Corner. As they come out of West Bank, down the mine shaft, and into the sweep. Johnny Herbert is the man who leads out. Ferrara goes wide. He tries to cut on the inside, looks for a way through. Whoa, nearly has his nose cut off as Johnny Herbert turned that Chevrolet Lumina in and only just managed to stay ahead.
23 minutes to go, and you don't want to be getting your nose stuck in the places where you shouldn't be getting. Oh, we've got a car number 15, Bonamico, in the Chevrolet Lumina, and Team Motorzone goes off and gets himself back on. Really made a bad mistake there.
Bonamico just getting it wrong. Cold tires, that's what I said. Only about the 3rd lap will these tires come into their own. So not getting too good for the ball. He did it yesterday as well. Remember that both Bonamicos are in there. And of course it's a father-son team. Federico and Marco. Not quite sure who's in the first race, but right now, whoever it wasn't doing a great job in the second of those Motorzone cars.
Well, I think it's also great when you're talking about the father and son, because they've got this little thing that they organize between them. The father does one race, the son does the other. Here we go, there's a replay of him going a little bit wide. Not too much damage at all to the car, but he's going to get some really nasty dirt on those tyres. He's going to have to scrub that off. And of course, who was that in the background was having to get on the brakes really, really hard. But right now, Johnny Herbert leads it up. Ferrara is still putting him under pressure. And Brendan Orby, that gap starting to increase just a little bit.
Yeah, Johnny Herbert, 0.3 behind him is Ferrara. And then it's 1.1 to Orby. Pigoli, 2.4 behind the leader. So about 1.3 seconds behind Brandon Orby. So Brandon Orby comfortable in 3rd place. There's Francesco Cini. Ramagnoli is in 5th place. There you see a bit further down Dionisio. He's one who was out here last year, one of the only drivers who actually came here for a second time. Cheruti, our lady driver, she's up to 14th place. And you can see even with that spin, Bonamico still in 16th.
Yeah, there's the Jaguar once again, of course the only one in this field at the moment, so we were looking for a little bit more out of him, but the surprise at the moment is Biaggi is currently at 7th at the moment.
Just picking up on Brandon Orby. Coming down that mine shaft, he had his windscreen wipers on, so I think there might be a little bit of rain coming down here. It might not be here in front of us on the main straight, but it is starting to rain, so the rain is coming down. And a wet race was declared, so it's going to be up to the drivers now to make these pit lane and pit stops count.
On site, on board and on TV right now, car number 34, as we look at that Audi from Kohler.
Kohler having a good run. He's in between the two BMWs. In fact, the BMW guys are starting to worry about the fact that Tom Biaggi has fallen so far back. But he was second in the free practice yesterday. He got up onto the grid quite nicely in 6th place. Ferrara leads out. There you can see almost 0.6 of a second ahead now of Johnny Herbert. Nothing in between the first two. There's a big gap down to Brandon Orby in 3rd. But look at that. Not even in the top 8. We still haven't seen Biaggi's name. When we go to 9, there he is. Oh, car running wide.
Yellow flags.
That's Tom Biaggi. No, it's Tramontozzi. Whoa, we're very lucky there. Tramontozzi, the man who is teammate to Tom Biaggi, running wide out of turn 3. I can tell you, I know how that feels. I've done that yesterday. Not such a good thing to do. And I don't feel too bad now when you see international drivers of this caliber doing the same kind of mistakes as what I can make.
I wonder if Michele Cheruti in that pink MG got a little bit of fright because there was such a dust cloud being stuck up there that the visuals, maybe she thought that he might have actually crossed the track. That could have turned really nasty.
So Johnny Herbert now trying to regain that position over Ferrara. Brandon Orby having a look at the rain. All the rain is coming down, but it's a very, very light drizzle at this stage, so it's not affecting the grip of the Michelin tires just yet. They come down the West Bank mine shaft, banking into the left-hand side and coming into the bowl. This is where late braking can happen and positions can change. Ferrara, Herbert, Orby, Pigoli. Those are your top 4 at this stage as they come out of the bowl. This little Chevrolet Lumina CR8 of the MotorZone team. Johnny Herbert, a very accomplished driver, as we spoke about earlier on. Then there's 2 Mercedes-Benz behind them. Here comes the Jag, the one and only Jaguar out there, and that, of course, is Ramagnoli. Ramagnoli, one of the fastest drivers yesterday. In fact, through the speed trap, he was the only man to break the 200k an hour mark as they went through turn 1, where they're heading now.
I've also been watching his performance, and he seems to be doing quite nicely in the second split. He's coming to grips with that at the moment. A little bit better off than the likes of Herbert and Orby. Brandon Orby just needs to keep it all together at the moment, which he is doing. He's a wily old character, although a very young man indeed, but in racing years, he really has got the talent, and he's an intelligent racer as well. That's what I like about him. He's got a West Bank Super V8 championship under his belt, and he's won that this year for 2010. So he is flying the flag of South Africa. But we have Italy, we have Britain, and we have South Africa, your top 3.
Lights on at the moment and looking pretty good for a bit more rain coming down here any second. So I'm a bit concerned about that fact. As Ramagnoli goes through in the Jaguar. So having a look to see up in the skies. You can see he's under pressure from the Audi. The Audi's putting big pressure on him. Windscreen wiper on. Yeah, look at that. The windscreen wiper is now full time on with Brandon Orby's car. Not quite sure why Ferrara and Johnny Herbert haven't put theirs on just yet. They head up to the top of the hill versus West Bank. It's a triple apex left-hander. Look at that, late braking from Johnny Herbert, nearly goes up the back end of Ferrara. Whoa, that could have been really, really bad. I think there might have been a little couple of words between the Italian and, of course, the man from Britain. He would have had some serious answering to do if he'd gone into the back end of Ferrara.
I think you're 100% right. I wouldn't have gone down, and I think that we would have got the sign language as opposed to the language barrier. Herbert would have just shrugged his shoulders. You know what? It's just a racing incident. Fortunately, nothing's happened, and he's got to watch that because they are traveling at tremendous speeds, and they will have to get these brakes hard onto the brakes as they get into most of these corners. And it is quite demanding on a race machine and driver here at Kyalami. 16
minutes to go in this race and 1 more lap, so they come to complete an awesome bit of driving so far. These guys really pushing it to the limit. The front 2 cars equally matched, hardly anything in between them. 3rd place is still Brandon Orby. Pigoli is up there into 4th. Cini is in 5th place. Ramagnoli in the Jag has now been demoted down to 7th. Kohler's got through on him on the Audi. And it's Dionisio. Tom Biaggi's in 9th. Capillari in 10th place.
There he is, confirmation, still the leader, Ferrara in that Mercedes AMG C63. Johnny Herbert, Orbi, Pagoli, there's no change really. Just further down on the mid-pack, it's Sini in 5th, Kohler 6th, Romanali in the Jaguar at 7th, Dionisio, and Biaggi is way back and not doing particularly well.
Loving the battle here for 11th place. It's a battle between Bossi, Ramanini, and of course Ceruti. Ceruti there, our lady driver in the pink Mercedes-Benz AMG C63. Look how close these guys have got. Awesome stuff. Bossi really having a little bit of a handful of these two Mercedes-Benz. And really nothing in it between those guys too. This is the battle a little bit further down for about 11th place on the road. But back to the leaders. Up to the top of the shelf into West Bank corner. It's Johnny Herbert, looks on the inside. He gets earlier onto the brakes. You can see the brake lights came on his car first, as Ferrara waited till the very last minute before he climbed on the anchors and turned into the left-hander.
Certainly when they get to South Africa, the big thing is that from experience, a lot of the drivers here in the Superstar Series have been here before. There was only a few that had not, and it would have taken them a little longer to come to grips with this track, particularly, as you were saying, on West Bank. The top of that shelf, it's totally blind. If you pick the wrong line, all of a sudden, you've just got space and a drop to the left.
Yeah, and somebody can just sneak up your inside. So Brandon Orby under a bit of pressure now. Orby starting to feel a bit of the pressure now coming from Pigoli. Pigoli is the man in 4th place. Check this out, the Jag going side by side with Dionisio. Dionisio trying to find a way past. Can he get through? Not just yet. And while he looks up the inside now, coming into the final corner. Late braking from the Jaguar, just maintains that big SV8 out in front of it. The XF SV8, a magnificent road-going car, available here in South Africa as well. It's something that if anybody gets a chance to drive, you really need to go in. It's a bolt of lightning strapped to 4 wheels. It really goes like a rocket ship. And speaking of bolts of lightning, I'm checking out over Saturn, but this rain has just hung on, and I think they've realized that Superstars is here, and the man upstairs has said, right, we'll just give you one race in the drive.
Well, it is a series that's open to V8 engine saloon cars, 4 doors, an engine capacity between anything from 3 litres to 7 litres. Power is restricted, Greg, to about 450 brake horsepower for engines with 4 valves per cylinder, and then 580 brake horsepower for engines with 2 valves per cylinder. So when we say power plant, we mean it. Yeah, no, they definitely have got some power around here, that's for sure. But at this stage, they're not the fastest V8s around the circuit, because the West Bank V8 Supercars. Here we go, on board with Herbert. This is the kind of scene you're going to get out of the car. Look how it's raining. The rain is definitely starting to come down a lot more than what it is. And he hasn't used the windscreen wiper yet. Maybe he uses it a couple of times per lap. So he doesn't want to be worried about the windscreen wiper because he's got so much to do inside this cockpit. Ferrara slows up, coming out of the triple apex. This is West Bank corner. Now we go down the mine shaft. Check this out. Oh, pity we didn't stay with that onboard shot. I wanted to have a look and see if he backs out of it or if he keeps it foot flat through the mine shaft and the sweep. Rain is certainly going to play.
Herbert goes down on the inside and takes the lead. Runs a little wide. Ferrara comes back at him. Can he keep him out? Oh, they are side by side. Look at that. There's Herbert on the left-hand side. We're on board with Ferrara. Whoa. In the background, Orby spins out. Brandon Orby has spun out all on his own from 3rd place. So the South African getting it completely wrong out of the pole. Just big Michelin tire smoke all over this track.
Greg, I think oh, here we go, connection.
Oh,
Capillari.
Oh,
look at that. Is that Brendan Orby? It could be out.
He's out for
his
sure.
Left front seemed to be damaged.
Capillari and Brandon Orby coming together. I don't think Capillari shot. Yeah, his left front is game over.
That's Brendan Orby.
So unfortunately, it looks like the man in the SKF ELT Chevrolet Lumina is going into pit lane. He might be able to get that sorted out. Capillari, though, has got his M3 back on track. But can you believe that? Ready to go. We're going to have a look at the replay of that, I'm sure, any second now. So as we see that coming in, Brandon Orby got it completely wrong out of the bowl. He then got it sideways. Pigoli, how did you miss him, bud? Well driven there. Absolutely amazing stuff there from Massimo Pigoli. Then he gets it all spun up and right. You cannot see the white car in the white smoke. Biaggi just misses him, but Capillari did not see him coming, tried to avoid him, and the two of them come together.
Well, he's sad indeed for Brendan Orby, who was looking quite composed up to that stage, but with those yellow flags going, Johnny Herbert still leads him out, and I reckon just a sprinkling of rain up by that part of the racetrack that they actually eventually got to. There was enough rain on that track to cause problems.
Yeah, into West Bank corner one more time, and Capillari is the man who crashed out there with Brandon Orby, but Ferrara now has to do all the work again. Pigoli is falling back with the rain starting to come down a bit harder now. You can't really see it on the screen that much, but you can definitely see it when we go on board. So a couple of changes as they came across the line. Herbert was leading, Ferrara was second, Piccoli was still in third place, but he's now lost that to Kohler. Kohler snuck through in the Audi. Kohler is up to third place. So a great bit of driving there from the Audi. Now this is what you're going to take into account. The Audis have got a quattro system on their car, a four-wheel drive system. They are now going to relish the fact that the rain is going to start coming down and may have a chance of catching these two leaders.
I totally agree with you, but I've also noticed that the lap times are starting to go south a little bit more at the moment. They were doing some stunning qualifying times as well over the weekend and in practice, and looks like those times are starting to come down to 151.9. Our leader.
Another spinner. Can you believe it? Tramatossi has run it again and run wide coming out of the pole. The M3 BMWs are not liking that pole at all. That is the second car to spin out there and the second M3 as we go back to the leaders. They've gone past Cerruti. Michele Cerruti just falling by the wayside. These, in fact, this is not the leaders, I beg your pardon. This is about 11th place. Very similar looking cars. There's Brandon Orby's car in the pit lane. And it doesn't look like they're going to get that car sorted out, or maybe they have. Hopefully he can get back into track.
Yeah, if it's only a change of a wheel, then you know, they should be okay. But we're getting some replays going over here. And who's that?
There's the replay of Tramatossi missing it. Well done, Michele Cerruti, for missing that out. And Tramatossi just getting it completely wrong.
It was closer than what you think it was. It probably looked very close on the screen, but it was closer than that. So the Chevrolet Lumina, Johnny Herbert from Great Britain, is streaking ahead, and he's being chased down by this Merc. And well, let me tell you something, this is not over by a long shot. We've got about 9 minutes and 4 seconds to go as well. Ferreira is going to have to try and find something, but I think Johnny Herbert is well on his game, and he's making that car quite wide, and he's taking some really good lines all the way down the mine shaft as well. So this is going to be interesting into the bowl.
Onto the braking markers, Herbert leads on. Just having a look at the way that Ferrara went through there. He's tapped out going through the sweep. So you can see that it's very tricky conditions. Third gear. They keep it in third all the way into turn 13. And they just bury the throttle one more time, keeping it in third gear all the way through, all the way down to second gear now. As you see coming through the final corner, Johnny Herbert leads out. Coming across the line now, we're looking at 8.5 minutes to go, plus 1 lap. So Johnny Herbert with probably about 10 minutes of racing still to go.
Well, it's a series that first started in 2004, and it's come on in leaps and bounds, and it seems to be very, very popular. There's two segments to the Superstars. There's the Italian Superstar Series, and it's all incorporated into one. And we're very fortunate enough to have this in South Africa for the second time. There's a lovely shot of that pink AMG from Chiruta as well, who I'll tell you what, had a couple of scares already, but she's still out there and circulating.
She's right behind Bonamica, and of course Bonamica is one of our spinners today. So he comes across the line. Bonamica and Cerruti, that's the battle at the moment for 11th and 12th place on the road.
Denisio
back
in
in the front though, check this out. Ferrara looking for a way past Herbert. In the background, we've got an Audi smoking. Kohler's Audi is starting to smoke a bit. That could be a big worry for him. We've already seen an Audi blown engine today in the Bridgestone production cars, but here in Superstars, it is the same thing. Can he keep it all together? He comes into the S's. There is a serious problem with that Audi. Hopefully he's not dropping oil, because there's going to be lots of oil behind him if he is, and the cars behind him are going to be slipping and sliding.
Yeah, there's no bodywork with their rubbing because he didn't have an incident at all, so they definitely could be engine related as well. But quite rightly, he is dropping oil. If that is the case, it looks like it.
The two cars at this stage that are leading are Johnny Herbert as they go across the line, completing another lap. And it is all about Johnny Herbert and Ferrara. Now Ferrara, as I said at the beginning of the race, has to win both, has to get the two fastest laps if he wants to beat Tom Biaggi. But after this race, he's going to get that success ballast added to his car, as will Johnny Herbert. So those two guys are going to have that extra weight, and Biaggi won't.
Yeah, I've just seen we've just had an absolutely massive lightning strike here at the complex as well, and lost a few of our cameras, but we're still on and circulating with our drivers here in the Superstar Series. Johnny Herbert, and the gap between Kohler around about 5.5 seconds at the moment. So things not looking good, and he'll want to increase that into the clubhouse at the moment, the old clubhouse we used to refer to. And of course they'll get into the first of the two S's, and a very demanding segment to this racetrack as well. You need to set yourself up really, really nicely for the first S. Otherwise, if you run too wide, we've got a runoff area on the left. Let's go back to the action right now, Greg.
Well, we're on the action on Ferrara's car. We're circulating with him at the moment because the lightning strike that just hit Kyalami has actually hit the Obi unit as well. So we're really having some massive problems there, getting all the cameras. There's one of our cameras working up at turn 9. Looks like we're all good to go again. Back onto the onboard camera of Ferrara.
Down the mine shaft.
Down the mine shaft now. Ferrara is going to look very, very hard. And a late outbreaking maneuver here on Johnny Herbert into the bowl. Can he make it stick? Herbert goes defensive. He knows he's got to hold that inside line. Look at how that, oh man, the back end of that Chevrolet was squirreling all over the place.
About 2 laps to go at the moment, and can Johnny Herbert hold on under tremendous pressure from Ferreira in the AMG? It's Lumina Chevrolet versus AMG. It's Britain versus Italy at the moment. About 2 laps to go. I would imagine if they're doing about a 150, there could be just 2 laps on it, and that will be, we'll call the race. But Herbert streaks ahead as he flies past the start-finish line on his way down to the first turn. That right-hander, the fastest place at Kyalami at the moment, and he is in control, Greg.
He's in control, but he's under pressure still. Ferrara's not going to let him get away with this. Ferrara needs that victory. He cannot afford to let Johnny Herbert take a victory here in South Africa. We're on board with them as they head up towards turn 3 and 4. Nothing in it between them at all. The top 10 as they came across the line were Herbert, Ferrara, Cola, Dionisio, the 2 Audis, then Pigoli in the Mercedes-Benz down in 5th place. Sini is in 6th, Ramagnola in 7th. So really nothing in it between these guys as they come through. Ramanini now, this is the man a little bit further back there. He was battling earlier on with Ceruti and of course with Bonamico, and looks like Ceruti is now starting to close down. Our lady driver has gone past Marco Bonamico, and Michela Ceruti has her sights set on Romanini.
Well, let's not discount what's been happening as well, because Alberto Cola has really just motivated himself up in another 2 spots. He was currently lying 5th. He's now up into 3rd, and he's chasing down. Now, we did bring you a gap between Johnny Herbert and Cola, and it was around about 5.5 seconds as well. On the screen, it looks a lot further, but Cola in 3rd. And right now, Ferrara has a look, just a look, mind you, nothing more than that. Just letting Johnny Herbert know that he's there and thereabouts, but I guarantee you Johnny Herbert knows that already. He's trying to keep out. He's fending down the mine shaft into the Bridgestone Bowl, and it's just absolutely amazing. It's a very difficult right-hander. They have to get hard on the brakes. This time around, Ferreira is not even getting close to Johnny Herbert. Into turn 13, lightning strikes all around us here in South Africa. It's renowned for it. On the way down to 14, yep.
Now looking dangerous. Can he sneak on the inside of Johnny Herbert? We are now looking at 25 minutes up. This will be the final lap. They're about to start their final lap. As they come across the line, they should get the 1 lap to go board. There it comes out. 1 lap to go for Johnny Herbert. Can he keep it all together? Can Ferrara find a way past? He is really going to have to push hard now. And Johnny Herbert is going to have his wits about him. He's been here before in the Formula 1 ×2 machines. He's also been here in a Formula 1 car racing in the Grand Prix. Look at the way he's working the Chevrolet Lumina CR8. Absolutely amazing stuff here from Herbert. Trying to keep it all together. Only about half a lap to go as they come through Sunset Corner. Oh, the Mercedes has slowed down. Ferrara might have a problem. That is going to be massive for this championship.
Yeah, could have just missed a gear possibly. I don't think there's any damage there at the moment, but he is, as you see on the pictures, having to fight it. It really is hard, and that gap has increased, there's no doubt about it. Could have been just a missed gear.
Well, I'm not quite sure if he missed a gear or if there's something a little bit more serious. We'll have to
No, it's serious. It's more serious. You can actually hear it sounding really sick.
This is Cola, though. This is the Audi. This is the Audi of Cola that we're on board with. This is not Ferrara. As they come through, their Ferrara just in the background. So he's managed to sort out whatever he had problems, but he has now lost a massive lead behind Johnny Herbert. Herbert now leads out probably about 3.5 seconds as they head up towards Westbank for the final time. Johnny Herbert, if he keeps it all together for another 6 corners, will make this the victory that he's required in Superstars. It'll be his first victory here in South Africa, that I can tell you, and Herbert's going to be a happy man.
Well, it would have stayed that way as well. I mean, whether he's right on the tail of Johnny Herbert or he's 5 seconds, he's still picking up the points. And Biaggi, let me tell you, is way down in 8th and nowhere to be seen at the moment. Romali in the Jaguar in 7th, Pagoli in that black AMG in 6th. Zini is in 5th. Cola, who we were on board very shortly with, is up to 4th. And Dionisio is overtaken Cola, is now in 3rd.
So we're going to change up on the final lap. Dionisio, his teammate, has outdone Cola. Cola's out here, as you saw earlier, smoking, but no problems from Johnny Herbert. The man from the United Kingdom is going to take the first victory here in Superstars in South Africa for 2010. And Chevrolet comes out. How can that be 1 more lap to go? Now they've given us 1 more lap. The last time they came round, the 1 lap to go board was out. So I don't know what happened there. We're on the final lap now. So as they come flying through, we are on to the final lap.
Well, that's quite bizarre because indications were that we were on the final lap, so one of those things. But there seems to be a breakdown in communication with the timing or the flag mount at the moment. But you know what? It's a bonus for us because we get another lap of this battle that's going on between Johnny Herbert, who is significant. Oh, we got a spinner.
Bonamico again.
Yep.
Bonamico spun out in the Chev, down in the bowl. So apologies there, folks, but as they came across the line the last time, we were right in front of the flag man, and of course he put the 1 lap to go board out, so it was actually 2 laps to go. We're on the final lap now, as you can see, and there's Pigoli going through Sunset Corner. Behind him is the Jaguar of Romagnoli, and then a little bit further back is Tom Biaggi. Now Tom Biaggi, if he finishes where he is right now, and Ferrara finishes where he is right now, will take this championship down towards turn 13. Johnny Herbert, this time you can get up on the wall, folks. Yes, indeed. Johnny's about to come through to take the checkered flag, and Herbert is going to make this a victory for the UK and for the MotorZone race car. This is the Chevrolet Lumina CR8 of Johnny Herbert coming to take the checkered flag. Behind him is going to be Ferrara. Ferrara, unfortunately, has not done enough, and he's going to take second place on the day. But it looks like Tom Biaggi's performance down in 8th place might just be enough to keep him in the hunt. So there we go, the overall standings at the moment in terms of winning. Johnny Herbert, Ferrara, Dionisio, Cini, Cola, Pigoli, top 6. Drummond Tozzi out, and also Brendan Orby was out. We saw that happen. In second place, a really tough battle, but eventually getting through. Let's get out there for Luigi Ferrara. Big round of applause there, ladies and gentlemen. And top of the podium for MotorZone and the Chevrolet Lumina team, it's Johnny Herbert. And ladies and gentlemen, coming up onto the podium, the 2010 Superstars champion. Let's hear it for Tom Biaggi.